Hello, welcome to Screen Talk with yours truly, Nomfanelo. So, I want to discuss the South Korean movie No Other Choice, which is the latest by Park Chan-wook. He's known for films such as Old Boy, The Handmaiden, and Decision to Leave. The film stars Lee Byung-hun, Son Ye-jin, and Park Hee-sung. Apologies if I mispronounce any of the names. So the movie is based on the 1997 novel The Axe by Donald E. Westlake. So the movie came out last week in theaters. I got a chance to see it just yesterday before this recording at Bytown Cinema. I want to shout out to them. So I was able to see this movie for free because I have a membership with Bytown Cinema, and this month is my birthday. Well, January 30th to be exact. So I was able to use the free ticket to see this movie, which is nice. So I'll get into my thoughts on the movie. So there's going to be some spoilers. I'm not going to go into depth of this movie, but I would say I really enjoyed this movie. Because I remember when I first saw the trailer, I'm like, yes, I need to see this movie. And after seeing it, I'm like, yeah, I really enjoy it. Um, the performances I really enjoyed, particularly by Lee Byung Hun. For me, it was nice to see him in roles outside of G.I. Joe with the G.I. Joe movies that came out, what was it, back in the late 2000s, early 2010s. That's where I know him from. I know many of you may recognize him from Squid Game. Now, I have not seen Squid Game myself, but yeah, I remember him from the G.I. Joe movies as Storm Shadow. So it was nice for me, at least, to see him in a different role outside of those movies. But yeah, he did fantastic job as the lead. It's interesting the arc that his character goes through, where he starts off well, having having the life essentially, and then next minute he's let go, all because what American company bought the company he works for that produces paper from trees. Such a shame. And then the path goes with this movie is is something. I would say one of my favorite sequences is like when he's going after the older target, Beyond Mo. It's so funny, interesting how that whole scene goes down. Like when he sees his wife having affair with someone else, and then they are like struggling with the gun at some point. Then he ends up getting killed with a Byung Mo, and then the wife is trying to cover that up. I'm like, wow, that's quite fascinating with how that went down. And I thought like with Mansu was going to get caught at some point, but that didn't end up happening. But it seemed like that the family, particularly with his wife and son, suspects that he is involved with those murders, like particularly when the police show up. But yep, he's able to get away with it, and he was able to get the job at the end. But then you question, like, was it worth it at the end, because there's barely any humans working at the company at this point. It's all like machines or AI essentially. So I find that's quite fascinating there. And I would say that in terms of critiques I have, is there were some pacing issues for me, but and also too, I just wish that since AI is quite the timely topic, I just wish that was more present throughout the movie, as opposed to just having what the American company or the Americans bought off the company, which is why he lost his job, and then have the AI towards the end. I just wish that was more present throughout the movie with the AI aspect of it all. But other than that, like the movie is solid. I really like how it tackles the themes of corporatism, and also to like the act of desperation in terms of trying to provide for the family and all that stuff. So I find those stuff to be appreciated. So I've not read the book myself, so I don't know if the book is on par in terms of what happens in the movie or if it's quite different. I wouldn't know. But if you've read the book and seen the movie, let me know if there's any notable differences or if it's pretty on par. So that's essentially my thoughts on the movie itself. Now, as of the time of this recording, this movie is being considered for various awards during this awards season. I did see that it premiered at the Venice International Film Festival. I think it was around September ish. It was either August, September, around that time, and it's been nominated for a couple awards here and there. It did receive some awards from different critics associations. It was shortlisted as of the time of this recording with BAFTA only for the international feature film category, and also too for the Oscars as well too. Because I saw many people question, is it actually going to get into those awards specifically, or is this going to be shut out? We'll have to wait and see what happens there. Now, this movie is part of the quote unquote Neon 5 because it's distributed by Neon in North America. So the other movies that's part of the Neon 5, so we have Sarat, It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, and The Secret Agent, which I did do a video on with Juliana. That's available on the channel if you want to check that out. Oh, totally forgot. With this movie, yeah, it won the first international People's Choice Awards at the Toronto International Film Festival, because I did cover that when that was out at the time. So, yeah, that's good on the film there. So, well, the Oscars, I believe the nominations are coming out this coming Thursday, so we'll have to wait and see what happens on that front. But I do want to bring up that I think what might potentially hurt this film's chances of, you could argue, being nominated itself or winning is in relation to Park Chan-wook and the WGA. So I have here the Google overview here, but I'll link the articles in the description. So if you're not aware, this was announced back in August this past year. Park Chan-wook, he was expelled by the WGA, which is the Writers Guild of America, for allegedly violating strike rules by working on the miniseries The Sympathizer that's under HBO during the 2023 strike. Now, he wears a lot of hats in this movie because he co-created the show. He was also the showrunner. He was the director. He was the one of the executive producers. Wore many hats for this show. It says, though he maintained his post production editing work wasn't writing and thus permitted, WJ board overruled an internal recommendation for a warning, leading to his expulsion alongside co creator Don McKellar. So, Park Chan Wook has denied that he was scabbing, essentially. Mentions that his team stated scripts were complete and post production editing, which was cutting scenes for time, wasn't writing, but the WGA considers such edits as writing services. So it says despite an investigative committee recommending a warning, the board chose to expelled Park Chan Wook and Don McKellar for violating the strike terms. So instead of appealing, Park Chan Wook decided to focus on No Other Choice and express continued respect for writers able to continue working as a non-union member. It says, while significant professional consequence, Park can still write and work in Hollywood by paying financial core status, but loses voting rights and eligibility for WGA awards. So I did see that a few weeks ago that a lot of the international films weren't eligible for WGA awards. With this film in particular, I was not surprised given this situation. So I do want to share. Yeah, Vulture talked about this. What did I wanted to share here? So yeah, uh, apparently WGA and the Directors Guild disagree on what exactly qualifies as writing, and have for a long time. WGA argues that hyphenate members, such as writer directors, are not allowed to make minor script changes during strikes. That includes cutting lines, making adjustments in dialogue, and changing stage directions. DGA, so Directors Guild, meanwhile sees these processes as part of a director's role. It says previously in 1978, WGA and National Labor Relations Board went to the Supreme Court over whether they could punish writers for these jobs, and the court found that they could not. Despite this, during the strike, WGA tweeted that writer directors are prohibited from completing this work during strikes. And then, yeah, we talked about hit Park Chan Wook's response, essentially denies that he violated any rules, essentially. And he said, yeah, that he was in post production Korea at the time and couldn't afford to spend as much time as hearing on appeal, even though I could still write without being a union member. I do wonder, though, if he's planning to appeal this at some point or if he's just going to move on for this. That remains to be seen. Um, and then yeah, we talked about that it was in post. Apparently, yeah, with Park Chan Wook and McKellar received proposal from HBO to change some of the settings. They were aware that new script writing was not allowed during the strike, so they did not rewrite or revise any of the existing scripts for any scenes. The new writing took place after the strike happened ended. Sorry. Um, so, in terms of what will happen, it won't impact in terms of employment opportunities. Says neither the union nor the producers can discriminate against you based on your non-union status. That's due to the Taft-Hartley Act from 1947, which said it was illegal to close shop per NLRB, which means that unions cannot legally require that non-union members be deprived of work. So both Park Chan-wook and Don McKellar are free to write direct moving forward, but they will be placed on the WGAW Financial Core list, which lists Financial Core non-members who pay a rate to the union when they're working on productions like Prestige miniseries. Says on the list webpage that writers have chosen to take advantage of the benefits of the WGA contract, one, through sacrifices of guild members across generations, while avoiding the corresponding obligations. Other members on this list include Sylvester Stallone, George Clooney, Steven Soderbergh, and Francis Ford Coppola. And then it talks about another situation there. But yeah, because I remember when this story came out at the time, like that was pretty big deal, and I saw like a lot of mixed reactions where there were some people that supported what the WJ did, while others did not support that decision. And I've seen some people brought up that if you remember, Ryan Reynolds, he allegedly scabbed when Blake Lively revealed during the red carpet for It Ends With Us that he rewrote the rooftop scene, I believe. And many people say that was hypocritical, that essentially Ryan Reynolds, did not get any warning or punishment, but Park Chan Wook and Don McKellar did. So just wanted to mention that. But yeah, just being expelled for this, whether Park Chan Wook is in the right or in the wrong, is a big deal. And I won't be surprised if this movie ends up being shut out because of this. Now, you could probably argue that this stuff won't matter and may end up getting nominated. Again, that remains to be seen. But if the movie ends up being shut out completely, I won't be surprised based off this. So that pretty much concludes this video on No Other Choice. Let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this movie? What do you think about this film's awards chances? Is the whole WGA expulsion going to impact the film's chances for awards, whether it's wins or nominations themselves? Let me know in the comments section. So if you want to support me, you could visit buymeacoffee.com/Nomfanelo, where you could donate and also to look at exclusive posts there. Also, too, I do have a community tab on YouTube, so if you subscribe to the channel, feel free to leave comments there as long as it's under community guidelines. And if you want to follow me on social media, my links are in the description. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to catch you on the next one.